All right, so social media has been around for a minute, but many of us still don't know or understand the sheer power of it. As we know, pictures, words, and video have the ability to travel fast. You probably saw the post that went viral after a couple was captured on the jumbo screen at a Coldplay concert.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Ooh, okay. After 128 million views and still counting, here's some of the fallout from that public display. Andy Byron resigned his position as CEO of Astronomer, and he made an apology to his wife, family, and co-workers. Kristen Cabot resigned her position as HR executive at the same company and was seen without wearing her wedding ring. Meanwhile, several memes have popped up on social media of fake or unlikely couples getting caught canoodling. At games and concerts, couples are now assuming the position as soon as they pop up on the big screen pretending to be caught. On the surface, it may seem funny, but if you're there for the comments, it only takes a second to know this story struck a nerve with a lot of people. Betrayal happens often and it is hurtful. Dr. Jake Porter is a board certified counselor as well as a certified sex addiction therapist. He joins us with board certified coach Andrea Rogers, who knows firsthand what that betrayal feels like. They're both with Daring Ventures, counseling, coaching, and consulting. They join us ahead of the first annual Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day next Monday. Good morning.
Good morning, Deborah.
All right. When something goes viral, oftentimes you don't have to look too far beneath the surface to see why. And this is one that's right in y'all's wheelhouse. You're not surprised?
No, not surprised at all. I mean, this is something that people deal with all the time, but there's really not a space in our culture to talk about it that much.
Yeah, and I think part of it is for a couple of reasons. One is the shame and guilt and all that, and we'll get into that in a second. But the other is, oh, well, it's so common, right?
Yes. It's just cheating.
Yeah, it's just
What's the
cheating.
big
People
deal?
do it until it happens to you.
Yeah, right.
The hard part about this is when you have family and kids, it's public humiliation.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
right. The spouses, the kids of these two folks, they didn't get to decide who is going to get to know this intimate part of their lives.
Yeah, back in the day, you hired a private investigator. Today, social media. I know someone who literally, they went off out of the city. They said, okay, we'll go celebrate her birthday out of the city. And she posted it on Facebook. And then she literally said, but we were out of town. Newsflash, Facebook ain't out of town.
Yeah.
It is in somebody's hand. All right. Andrea, your journey. Oftentimes whether we accept cheating or we're the person cheating, a lot of it can come from the modeling we had growing up. What was it like in your family growing up?
Well, betrayal was a part of my parents' story, but I had done a lot of work on myself. I had been in counseling, understanding that I wanted to create a different dynamic for my family. So I was very intentional about who I married, how I married, when I married, all of the things.
Yeah, you wanted to be loved. You wanted to feel a sense of belonging, which is, everybody wants that on the surface, right?
Right.
But your dream marriage became your worst nightmare. What happened?
Absolutely. It was similar to this where, I'm minding my business thinking life is wonderful, and then all of a sudden I'm feeling like maybe it's not so wonderful. And in one day I discovered that my husband had been living a double life.
Wow.
And it was extremely painful. I thought, okay, one affair, and I called a friend and she goes, well, you should ask him, are there more? And I'm like, more? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I was so naive to the fact that there are serial cheaters and people do this all of the time, and there are multiple ways to be deceptive about it, or be at a concert and be caught on the jumbotron.
Right. Ticket sales went down at concerts across the country. But it's not only, it's also in a way abusive. I know we assign a certain meaning to the word abuse, but it's abusive.
Absolutely, because you're manipulating someone's reality. You're living, believing that your life is one way, that this is who you are, this is who this person is to you. You have agreements about the relationship, and one person is essentially pulling the strings of that reality.
Yeah.
And so it is a form of psychological, emotional abuse. Sometimes there's physical abuse because STDs are real. And then the financial abuse, if you're spending money on the affair. There's a lot to it.
All right, Dr. Porter, what was your family modeling growing up?
I had great parents, and I was raised, in a warm family.
Yeah.
But, we all live in this fallen, broken world, and through some other hurts that came into my life, I found myself as a young adult acting in ways that were very contrary to my values. I consider myself a man in recovery from sex addiction myself.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what led me
too
into
is that
this
you
field.
had things where you were very successful at things.
I was.
Growing up, you were the drum major, your school,
Yes.
all those things.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes when you are that kind of successful again and again and again, the fear of failure gets bigger.
Oh yeah, I was most likely to succeed and all that kind of stuff, lots of leadership positions, and turned away from anything that felt like failure. But that's a lot of pressure to live under. And you know, people do all kinds of crazy things to try to deal with feelings they don't know how to manage otherwise.
Yeah, but because you all have been through that, you know, I call it not the resume you necessarily want to get, but it is the resume that counts, right?
That's right.
And that's why you went into coaching others. You remember how painful it was, but you also know how you can get through it. And so that's why you went in, you coach couples, you help couples through this.
Absolutely. I was very alone in my journey, had terrible help and support in the beginning, and the isolation that I felt was something that I didn't want anyone else to experience. So I realized very early, this is going to be a mission for me. This is something I'm passionate about. It happens every day. People shouldn't have to suffer in silence.
And you talk about the help you get, because sometimes well-meaning friends will tell you, well, you know, either don't worry about it, but you can't say just don't worry about it.
Right.
There's a lot of pain there. Or it's, girlfriend, we're doing the waiting to exhale, strike a match. And they say, no, we can't be doing that either.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah, I have 4 little people watching me. Yeah.
You can't do that. So that's the hard, and that's the hard part. You know, when you have the father of the children or the mother of the children, because by the way, cheating, I think oftentimes people immediately think about it's the man.
That's right.
That's right.
There's somebody they're cheating with, case in point, the Coldplay
right.
video,
That's right.
right?
That's
right. That's right.
But you always have to remember, no matter what that spouse or parent has done, they are half of those children. So
That's
if
right.
you are horrible about that person, kids can internalize that as, okay, you're talking about half of me. So that's a hard part as well. All right, let's define cheating. So I think we say that's oftentimes if you're having sex with someone, but it can be a little bit more in that gray area, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There's a spectrum from emotional displacement, where just someone else is taking the spot. I'm supposed to be your primary person, and now all of a sudden someone else is getting to know things about you that I don't know. Even that is a violation of the agreement of the relationship.
And the internet brought about a lot of that too.
Oh,
When
yes,
Facebook came up, I remember people
absolutely.
going, "Well, he rediscovered his high school girlfriend,"
That's right.
and he closes the door, and I knock on the door, and it's like, "I'm not done yet. What are you doing?" Right?
If I wouldn't want my partner to know what I'm doing, that's a pretty good sign. If I'm keeping something hidden, if I'm saying something I wouldn't say with my wife right there, that's a pretty good sign that I'm violating some terms of our agreement.
Unless it's the gift for your 50th birthday.
Well, yes.
or something
yes,
like that.
That's right. A surprise party. Yeah.
All right. With infidelity, as we said before, we all know it's not uncommon. 90% of the couples that you work with can recover with the proper tools. And sometimes there's something else that led someone there, if people are just honest to talk about it, right?
Sure.
So, but forgiveness has to be real, kind of going through your process. Forgiveness has to be real. The cheating partner needs to regain their trust. It's not going to happen overnight. You will actually give a lie detector test before you start sessions with couples.
Oh, yeah, that's early on. We got to get the truth out, because if there's not truth and truthfulness and honesty, there can be no trust. The forgiveness is a fruit that can happen down the road once trustworthiness is established again.
Yeah, and once they do that with you, this intensive type of thing that they go through, then there's the sessions that follow up, and that's where you come in, Andrea. Those next steps, if someone's sincere in saving the relationship, what do those next steps look like?
Well, those next steps look like taking ownership and responsibility, being willing to talk about the betrayal. A lot of times the betraying partner feels uncomfortable bringing it up, but it's an important part of the healing to be able to grieve together, that the betrayed partner is not the one bearing the burden of the story, that you develop a shared story and decide what does it look like for us to move forward together in truth and honesty.
Yeah, and for that betrayed partner to make sure that they look at some things like, I can't tell you how many times I've had friends go, well, she was skinny and had blonde hair, so she's losing weight and getting blonde. It's not about that.
No, it's never about the betrayed partner. A person who chooses to betray their partner is operating from a space inside themselves, even if they blame their partner, but whether they were with you or someone else, if they lack that integrity, they're going to lack that integrity in multiple situations.
And after going through these sessions, couples have to come to the conclusion, are you going to retie the knot, so to speak, or are you going to cut the cord? And sometimes it's just better to cut the cord.
That's right. That's right. Not every relationship is going to make it, especially if there are a lot of other mental health issues, personality disorders, that kind of thing on board without treatment.
Yeah, because they always say, can a cheater ever change? But you look at some of the things that brought them to it: past trauma, unaddressed insecurities, sex addiction, as you mentioned. If you don't address that, the entitled narcissistic personality, that would just cut that cord right away.
It's tough.
But yeah. All right. Tell us about Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day, because I was like, I have not heard of this, and you're like, well, of course not, because I just came up with it, right?
That's right. It has been
But it's official. I mean, you had to file for it.
It's
everything.
official, yes. I filed for it. I put it on the calendar. We are celebrating it. It is a way to honor partners. And if anybody's a Hamilton fan like I am, in the play, she says, I'm taking myself out of the narrative after she finds out that he's betrayed her. And then she comes back and says, I'm putting myself back into the narrative. So the hashtag for this day is about empowering betrayed partners to change the narrative. We have power in telling our stories. We don't need to hide in shame and secrecy. We didn't do anything wrong. We were trusting, loving people who were betrayed by someone that we loved. We deserve to be honored for our survival, our resilience, our persistence. You know, we take our mess and we make it our message. And so I want to be able to honor partners who do that.
Yeah, and look for professionals on that day to be posting advice. I know you post advice on your social media as well, as you do, just so you can kind of click on there and just get some guidance.
Absolutely.
All right, because again, the point that you made is that it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's interesting, I really didn't think about it that way, but when we feel ashamed of something like that, the first thing we do is feel like we were lacking in some way.
That's right.
And the people are looking at us as not being whole, but that's not the deal. So extending the idea to nonprofit organization was born from this National Day as well?
That's right. After I started the idea of the day, I thought, you know, as a betrayed partner myself, what did I need? I needed somebody to bring me a meal, because it's like a death, right? But nobody brings you a meal. Hey, I'm sorry, your husband cheated on you.
One of two things happened. I remember with my boyfriend in college, it was either you're going to not eat and drop a lot of weight, or you're going to eat everything in front of you.
That's right. So I want to provide practical resources for partners, you know, books, cards, a meal. Somebody can purchase a meal and have it sent to the house, listen, and to really educate people, because this Coldplay thing is really viral because it hits a chord with people. Betrayal is rampant in our society. It's a social and mental health crisis that we don't talk about, and I really want to raise awareness that we can be better as a society. We can care for each other as human beings in our worst times.
Yeah, I mean, couples counseling has value if you think you're like sliding off the rail there. Thank you two very much.
Thank you, Deborah.
Again, the first ever Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day is Monday the 4th. For more information on Daring Ventures and how they work to get couples to heal, go to greatdayhouston.com and we will connect you.